Hey everyone, welcome. So in this episode, I've had a tremendous amount of luck to bring one of my former students up online and to conduct an interview for him. He fortunately just got in Stanford University. Congratulations again. It's a huge win for him and his family. And this interview is just to try to share some insights of his thought process, especially when it comes to college application. So, just to give a little bit of background information, this is one of my students from the AI summer class, Big Data at Columbia University, 2 years ago. So, I've known him for a while. In his summer project, he actually did an algorithmic trading, which I thought was super cool, especially at high school level. And then later on in his high school career, he's able to turn a course project into an internship. And then from there, he's able to just follow the passion and continue to expand that passion and turn the internship into his own startup. So he actually has his own cryptocurrency trading company, which I thought is just fabulous amount of experience at a high school level. So without further ado, let's jump right in. First of all, congratulations on making to Stanford.
Thank
Obviously,
you.
it's a big win, for you and as well as your family. So the first question is, why Stanford? Why do you find that interesting? Why that's your choice?
So Stanford was my dream for quite some time, not just because of the faculty or the classes offered there, but also the entrepreneurship drive, which is fostered throughout the campus culture. I guess let it be startups or maybe even joining someone's startups, VC, anything. And the whole faculty is always engaged. So even before joining Stanford, I used to mail my professors anything I had a doubt and like a summer school I did. So I can mail a professor, then I can mail some student. And those students were always responsive. So I guess the environment at Stanford really appealed to me. And more than that, the entrepreneurship drive over there, that if I have some novel idea, it won't be rejected, but it can always be pursued on, made better. And then, yeah, I guess that's the main thing.
I see, got it. Yeah, that's amazing. Me personally, I have not uh, been Stanford as a student.
Mm.
I visit their campus and I have connections there, obviously. So I can definitely, vouch for what you said, and it's
Yeah.
got a great startup opportunity and just tremendous, amazing amount of opportunities. So when you get there, definitely something to look out for. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Um, so next question is, I know you are in computer science, applied math. When you take the class at Columbia, you're doing basically data science related stuff.
Yeah.
But the project that you did was actually in finance. So could
Yeah.
you walk through kind of like the thought process of how to apply data
So
science, how to apply AI to
our
finance.
project was
Yeah.
basically in big data and like analyzing big data. So with that, the main source whenever we think of numbers and like a lot of numbers actually is to have some set of data from like the financial world, because most of the data is quantized. So it's all numbers, easily crunchable through the computer. And then you can always make better predictions. And when you run the computers on numbers, I guess finance really taps in with the math aspect also of it. So you can understand the graphs based on mathematical patterns. So I guess it was a really good mix of numbers, mathematics, my love for computer science, having a good data source as well. So I guess that's why we went into the direction of finance, basically analyzing stocks. Our main project was analyzing with the when the golden cross and death cross usually happen and predicting them. And we also had some side projects on predicting the actual price and returns on stocks, but those weren't as accurate, obviously, because those require the stock markets are very volatile. But yeah, basically that was a project and the thought process behind it.
That's great. Yeah. I still remember the presentation, and I think it was like recorded online actually. So I
Yeah,
thought that was very interesting. And me personally, I particularly enjoyed that because obviously, I'm in finance before I was a data
yeah,
scientist, and I still, have like hands in finance and asset pricing. That's really my field. So
mm,
I thought that was interesting myself, which is really great because
yeah.
you guys are doing the same project. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so the question relate to that, and then a couple of other jobs experience on your
Mm.
resume that I found interesting is so you were actually able to take that project and take that passion really, and then later on land an internship and later on maybe start your own trading firm or crypto trading firm. So could you walk us through that, a progress and
Yeah.
how that trajectory is happening?
So I always had an interest in stocks, and basically my dad also works in finance. So I always had these conversations with my dad about, oh, this stock is going up, what's happening, how does the stock market actually work? And then when we had the chance on actually working on a hands-on project in Python, like to predicting stock prices, I found that really interesting. And a field related to that is algorithmic trading. Algorithmic trading basically uses algorithms to predict stock prices. That can also be AI or basic Python programs on when to enter the market, when to leave the market, when the market is actually being a lot like very volatile. So I guess that was a field I was really interested in. Later on, I tried mailing a lot of people with my project. Oh, this is what I've done in my summer school, and this is a field I'm really interested in. This is my experience in mathematics. This is my experience working in AI and Python. And that helped me land an internship at Kiwi Capital. That's basically an algorithmic in the trading company. And after that, you can obviously, when you learn how to actually set up a company, not just predicting the stock price, but also working on that stock price. So this is the stock price. So let me make some program to buy the stock right now and then sell it. To actually interact with the let's say the stock market. That's I guess the biggest part of it. And then that's what I mainly learned at the internship, and I'm currently learning. And I hope to set up my own algorithmic industry someday.
That's great. Yeah, definitely share a lot of the similarities out there from, me personally, as well as my other students, my other connections in the industry. I think what's interesting here is I actually was able to see on your resume or on your profile, actually, you were able to take a course project at Columbia, and
Yeah,
then you were able to just follow that passion because this is something that you're really interested in, this is something that you love, and then take that and continue down the road to turn into an internship and then turn into your own company. I thought that was really interesting and something that certainly not even adults can probably figure that out. And then here you are, you're able to figure that out in high school. So was it really just passion driven, or do you feel like, hey, um, you're doing this maybe for the school, or maybe there are other reasons behind it? I'm just curious if you can walk through, the motivation of doing all this.
yeah. So I guess when I started, it was just a passion, like a hobby. Oh, I'm learning something new. Oh, I can predict stock markets. Maybe I can someday start investing. But when I actually like got hands onto it, learned more about it, I guess that drove me more into the project. And when I actually saw the algorithms working, actually making some money, I guess that's where the interest really developed in, because I saw the real life impact. With a lot of projects, we sometimes think of good ideas, but they're not real life applicable. But with this particular idea of algorithmic trading, it was real life applicable. So I guess that's where my main interest developed. That it was actually applicable in the real life. I was able to see how it works. If it's not working, backtest my strategies. I guess that's really where the interest built in.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. So, I think that real world experience is really what makes this whole thing attractive to you, right?
Yeah,
Mm, I've gone through similar process myself. Like when you see a certain strategy on paper or in Python, it probably not mean
yeah,
much, right? But when you see this strategy is starting to make money or starting to lose money, then that's when things start to tick, right?
yeah,
And obviously you have to deal with tons of other things that you might not be able to measure in the model, like
yeah,
liquidity problem, like volatility, like some of these things. If they happen in the market, they just happen in the market. Like you're not entirely able to basically predict all of it. So there's
yeah.
certain confidence going behind it, right? And you
Obviously,
kind of get the
obviously.
idea of going through all of that all by yourself and physically experience all of that. So I think
Yeah.
that's really great.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, of course. So project in the future. what are your thoughts in um chasing this passion? Are you do you have idea or do you envision yourself continuing down this direction and keep following this passion, or do you want to like explore other passions? You know, natural language processing is pretty hot right now. Large language model is pretty hot right now. So what are your thoughts on those things?
Yeah.
Do you want to like be more targeted, or do you kind of want to like expand your horizon? Um,
So I guess at this young age, I have a lot of time ahead of me to build experience. So at this point, I really want to explore a lot of things and see what I'm actually interested in the most, what really works for me. If I have something more innovative, maybe in some other field. So I guess I have a diverse range of passions, but it all really comes down to AI. I'm pretty sure I want to do something related to mathematics, numbers, and AI, predicting things. That's where my interest really lies, building patterns into things where we really can't think of any patterns. I guess AI is really one thing I want to do. And in AI, I have a lot of different projects going into image analysis, also going into like uh, the language thing you talked about, the natural language processing. In that, I had a project about how to translate hand signals, sign language into text and text into sign language. So I guess my main interest lies in AI. And in that, I have a lot of different projects I want to really pursue on further, see what really works on. And yeah, I guess have that experience in college and after college, maybe start something concrete of my own.
That's great. Yeah. So yeah, so that's kind of what I recommend other people as well. So it's great to, have you saying that simultaneously on the side, which is very
Yeah.
interesting. Like typically, obviously this is my personal opinion.
Mm.
At a younger age, specifically in college, you want to just take a variety of different classes and
Yeah.
just put
Okay.
yourself out there, get your hands dirty. You get all of that, right? And
Yeah.
then this will be able to help you to learn and at least see a bunch of different things. And then from there, you'll be able to tell, okay, I like this, I don't like this.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, that's the main thing.
right,
Mm.
because if you haven't tried it, then how do you know that, right?
And this is really a time where we can explore different classes because once we enter mid-20s, that's the time we really have to work on something to make it big. So till that time, maybe it's good to pick up on a lot of skills. If something doesn't work on that you started, because not all is actually work. So maybe you have some skills for some other project as well. I guess in this time, I really want to build my skills, most importantly. uh, I want to understand the basics and the advancements of how AI really works, not just, build a project, but actually understand how to build something new as well, create a new technology maybe. I guess that's what I want to learn in college, maybe innovate something new of my own.
That's great. Yeah. There's stuff online about like chatbots, specifically backed by like ChatGPT and large language models. If you're interested, I can send you the link,
Yeah,
and just
sure.
kind of
I'll be
check it out
interested in
yourself.
that. Read about that.
Yeah. So I can definitely send you some of my links as well. You can quickly build an app all by yourself, using
Thanks a
this
lot.
thing called Streamlit application. Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
fine.
think you'll find it very interesting. Yeah. Um, cool. So I have one last question, which is based on your experience of applying for college. It
Mm.
doesn't have to be Stanford particularly, just
Yeah,
kind of like
I got it.
overall experience.
Mm.
What are your advice for some of the other high school students that are applying for college right now?
So I guess my main advice would be explore a lot of things if you're in maybe early high school or end of middle school. I guess the good thing is to explore a lot of things, see where your passion actually lies in, and then maybe do a diverse range of projects, start something of your own, not necessarily join something with someone else started because at that point, you're not making something new. So I guess in high school, the most important thing is to start a lot of new different things and then see where your passion actually lies. And if you're in the middle part of the high school, let's say 10th or 11th, I guess it's really important to build a diverse array of projects, but have a singular brand associated to it. Like for me, that was basically mathematics and using AI for social good. And I had a lot of different projects in AI, but my overall theme was that I'm a guy who's really into AI and patterns and numbers and mathematics. So I guess have a diverse array of projects but always have a singular theme backing it up. And I guess if you're in 12th, maybe instead of building something of your own new, I guess whatever you have, develop that into, maybe scale it up. Instead of starting 10 different things in 12th grade, I guess if you have one main project, scale it further, make it your main project, and maybe talk about more in about that in your college application. Because that's my tip for any high school out there.
I see, got it. Thank you so much for sharing that. So it's really about following your passion, following something you're truly interested in.
Hmm.
Like, don't do things like for the sake of
Yeah.
college application. Like,
Yeah,
don't do things
obviously.
for the
Never
sake
do
of
something just for college application. Because then
yeah,
it's also visible to the, I guess, the college that you just did something for the college, not actually you're interested in. I guess the college dealing so many applications, they're able to figure
yeah.
that out. So do something which you're actually passionate about. I guess that really helps. And that's what keeps you running also. Like if you do something you're interested in, you'll be more excited to scale it up, do more projects in the similar field. Because yeah, doing something of your interest is really important.
I see. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that pro tip for the rest of the high school students out there who's applying for college, maybe this year or next year. Yeah. Cool. Thank you for your time. Do you have any questions for me?
I actually do. So
Yes,
I
please.
really wanted to ask you, how did you get into this field of data science as and particularly AI, because AI wasn't that famous some time back. It's been more of a highlight right now. So what was your main interest back then, start like getting into the field of data science and AI? And what was your background and see?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for me, I actually didn't really completely get into data science and AI until only just a few years ago.
Hmm.
When I was in undergrad, that was actually this point probably 10 years ago. That's when I was in
Hmm.
undergrad, 2010 to
Okay.
2014. I did not do data science or AI. I did mathematics.
Hmm.
Specifically, I was having a slight focus on geometry, so
Hmm.
differential geometry, that sort of thing, which
Oh,
doesn't really have
yeah.
too much thing to do with AI.
Yeah.
It's just a purely derivation. Uh,
Hmm.
like things like, if you give me a circle or if you give me a cylindrical, I was able to figure out, okay, that's a tangent plane, that sort of thing. It's
Yeah.
not really fancy. It's not really something too hard to do, and it
Hmm.
doesn't really have a whole lot to do with computers. Um, so,
Hmm.
like, if I were to like restart undergrad again, I would definitely focus more on computer science.
Yeah.
Like back in the days, I focused on math. I only took like a few computer science courses to just get a
Hmm.
start of like a basic programming. So
Hmm.
that's definitely something I would change if I were to go back in time.
Yeah,
Now that
that's
being said, to answer your question, right? I started my career in finance. So same as you, like I follow my passion, and
hmm.
my dad told me constantly about
Hmm.
stock market because he's in stock market,
Yeah.
and I came to the United States kind of for the purpose of, hey, I want to work on Wall Street, that sort of thing.
Hmm.
And I did work on Wall Street for a year or two. I didn't
That's
particularly
nice.
like it a whole lot about it. I
Hmm.
think I can do the job. I think it's fine. I'll probably eventually go back to finance because I actually got in the MBA program at Chicago, so
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna
Hmm.
go back to finance eventually. But I always felt like, hey, I'm still young. Like I want to uh just explore my passion in terms
Yeah.
of
Obviously.
quantitative trading. So that's
Hmm.
actually how I got started with data science, which is actually in quantitative trading. I didn't do data science for the sake of doing data science. Like I did quantitative trading first, and I have to learn coding, learn Python, learn algorithm, learn all that stuff to understand what is quantitative trading. And
Yeah.
then once I did that, and then I was like, okay, if I can do this, then I can use the programming skills I learned and then do machine learning, do data science.
Yeah.
So it
That's
was until probably like 2017, 2018, when I like physically got into like the whole field of data science. So I start
nice.
from
Hmm.
Columbia University, and
Hmm.
that's kind of like how I got the research portion started, which is
Oh,
also
that's nice.
late actually. Some students
Hmm.
start their research in undergrad. They start writing papers in undergrad.
Yeah.
Um, and for me, it was actually late. I didn't do any of that in undergrad. I did it after I work on Wall Street, and then I kind of figure out, okay, that's what I want to do.
Hmm.
So from there, I got in research, I got in programming, I got in basically thinking about data sets, that sort of thing. Because when you write a research paper, you obviously need a data set.
Yeah.
You need.
Hmm.
So yeah, so
Need
that's
validation.
kind of how I got started. And then from there, things kind of just kick off. And
Hmm.
uh, I was in statistics, and statistics is extremely tied up to data science. Some of the skills is highly transferable.
Yeah.
And from there, one thing led to another. I got my first job in data scientist back in 2019, 2020. And then pretty much, I have been in data science ever since. Yeah.
That's good to know.
So thanks everyone for watching. Let me know if you have other questions down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.